Hi there, this is Charlie, the Chief of Operations with Moldbusters. I just wanted to take a few minutes to talk to you about a situation that happened to us this week that really sparked some significant concern. Now, this has to do with sampling vermiculite to determine if it contains asbestos or not. So this week we had two separate assessments. One of them was located in Carleton Place, Ontario, and the other one was in Kingston, Ontario. On paper, the attics of both of these properties were constructed in a very similar fashion. They both contained three separate layers of insulation. The bottom layer was a rock wool insulation, and then on top of that was the vermiculite, and it was spread evenly throughout the attic space, wedged underneath the support trusses, and so on and so forth. After that, there was a layer of blown cellulose on top of that insulation. So, our company was hired to collect the vermiculite from both of these two attics, bring them to an independent laboratory for analysis, and then provide the clients with the results. The first thing that we heard that sparked some significant concern for us was that some companies are recommending to clients that they can collect the samples of vermiculite themselves and deliver to a laboratory. Yes, there is tons of different information out there that will instruct people on how to do this. And to be perfectly honest, the mechanics of collecting vermiculite is not that complicated, but it's all about the risk. We highly recommend that you contact a trained professional to take the risk for you. There is no reason why you need to go into an attic space and expose yourself to potential carcinogens just to save a few shekels. The reality is that a trained professional can accurately collect these samples using appropriate personal protective equipment and adhering to the appropriate sampling methodology. That brings me to the second most concerning thing that we heard this week, was that some companies instructed their clients just to pop open the attic hatch, reach in, grab a handful of vermiculite, throw it in a bag, and send it to a lab. This is not an accurate sampling process. In order for vermiculite to be accurately sampled, there needs to be multiple individual samples collected throughout the attic space. The reason why we do this is to ensure that there will be no false negatives or false positive results when collecting vermiculite samples. So there needs to be a representative sample of the entire attic space in order to draw a conclusion. Let me explain it like this. So when vermiculite was installed, it came in large brown paper bags. It was split open, it was spread out, and then it was leveled out. The problem is that not all vermiculite contains asbestos. So by collecting only a singular location, you may not have an accurate representation of what your actual attic's content is like. This is important. So there's a reason why these sampling methodologies are in place. It's to ensure accuracy. So under no circumstance is it really acceptable to just reach into the attic, collect one sample from one location, and say that that is representative of your attic's content. That is not accurate. There needs to be multiple individual samples at different locations and at different depths in order to make up one full representative sample of vermiculite. Now, the third thing that sparked some concern for us was that both of these clients told us that on separate occasions they had home inspectors, contractors, electricians all give them their opinion on whether or not the vermiculite contained asbestos. They all had different opinions, and they were all 100% convinced that their opinion was correct. This caused a lot of confusion, and it's important to stress this one fact. Not all vermiculite contains asbestos. So there's a lot of vermiculite out there that does not contain asbestos at all. And there's no way that you could tell just by looking at it. Now, in this week alone, we collected both samples from the Carleton Place location and the Kingston location. So these are the two pictures of the samples that we collected. Now, according to our technician, they both seemed almost identical. One sample yielded positive results above the recommended provincial threshold. So one sample contained over 1% of tremolite asbestos within the sampled content. The other sample of vermiculite contained zero asbestos whatsoever. It was a non-asbestos containing material. Both of these two materials were collected from very similar attic spaces. The sampling methodologies for both locations were adhered to identically, but both results were completely different. Here's the thing, is that you cannot tell, no matter how trained or experienced you are, whether a material contains asbestos or not just by looking at it. We can't even do it, and this is what we do every single day. The only way to know is through a laboratory process. We understand that there's a lot of conflicting information out there concerning asbestos. I mean, unfortunately in this industry, it seems like we're swimming in a perpetual sea of gray. It's not always black and white, but let us make one thing as clear as possible. When it comes to sampling any potential asbestos-containing material, we highly recommend that only trained professionals do so, for no other reason than the safety of you and your family. That's it. You should not have to put yourself at risk just to determine if a material contains asbestos or not. Let us do that. That's what we do. There are many variables to consider, and it's important that these variables are factored in by people who know best. So do not put yourself at risk. Call the professionals. We'll take care of it, and we'll be happy to get you the results that you need in a timely fashion. Thanks for watching.